They say when Faiz wrote, "Mujhse pehli si mohabbat mere mehboob na maang," he wrote about the atrocities he had witnessed in the valley when he was posted there. But depending on which side of the border you live in, the atrocities can mean different things to you. The genocide of Kashmiri Pandits is an appalling chapter in Indian history that is never taught in schools, never equated to other riots and genocides in India or across the world, and always spoken about in hushed tones. So when Vivek Agnihotri decided to pick this up as a next project after success with revealing all he could about Lal Bahadur Shastri in the Tashkent files, it seemed bold, courageous even. But was he able to capture the true sentiments of the Kashmiri Pandits? And does the movie do justice to the truth? Let's jump right into the review to find out.
Shut up and sit down.
All hail Anupam Kher. When the sentiment comes from harsh reality, it can work wonders on screen, which is why we think it was a masterstroke to cast Anupam Kher in this film. Over the years, Kher has been extremely vocal about the rights and forgotten history of his people. And with this project, he gets to express his pain in a way that causes us to think that this performance is perhaps the best we've ever seen of his talent. The highlight is when he delivers a monologue. It's absolutely phenomenal. And you must watch this movie for Kher's performance, whether or not you agree with the story or premise. His expressions and dialogue delivery are spot on, and his sheer agony sufficiently apparent. A contrasting storyline. What we especially love about the structure of this tale is that it contrasts the fight for the rights of young Muslims in Kashmir versus the rights of the Kashmiri Pandits that were crushed in the 1990s. That is the kind of layered dilemma that the protagonist goes through and creates for an engaging watch despite the 2 hours 50 minutes runtime. Graphic and raw. What is especially engaging in this movie is that it presents the facts as it is. It's a fictionalized version of the truth where Agnihotri and team hold no punches back and show the atrocities as they were. Yes, it's difficult to watch all of this for nearly 3 hours and not be impacted. But what separates this from Tashkent Files is that the issues are current and relatable, and probably a little uncomfortable for those politically inclined one way or the other. The other side of the Kashmir story that doesn't get talked about gets a very graphical voice in the film and needs to be seen and heard for those with staunch opinions on the matter. Well researched, and it shows. This is what Vivek Agnihotri and team do well. Hard, certain truth, backed by solid research. We saw this in Tashkent Files too, where the makers tried to introduce a new generation to the forgotten truth about a great Prime Minister. Here too, the story is based on real-life interviews and stories collected from Pandits who went through this horror of being reduced to refugees in their own country. And although certain scenes are constructed specifically to provide the viewer with this information, which do feel a tad bit awkward at times, but all in all, the effort to factualize this fiction is commendable and must be lauded. A repeat but effective cast. While veterans like Mithun Chakraborty and Puneet Issar make their presence felt constantly with absolutely seamless performances, Prakash, Belawadi and Atul Srivastava are the usual selves in their roles. The most impressive performance, barring Anupam Kher's, is by Pallavi Joshi as Radhika Menon, a character whose origin the makers merely thinly shroud. Pallavi makes Radhika a character you love to hate, and does so flawlessly. Darshan Kumar's performance seems half-hearted, and although he tries absolutely hard in his soliloquy, the required impact is missing, and his performance is average at best.
Beauty everywhere. Uday Singh Mohite captures the heaven and earth in all its glory while contrasting it with the reality of its hell-like state. And he does so seamlessly. Every emotion and every frame are captured so brilliantly that we found ourselves enjoying the visuals more than the plot itself at times. The camera moves not on the wheels but with the actors as they move, creating a perception of presence in the scene. It's absolutely fantastic camera work and we urge you to go watch it. We especially loved the top shots taken over the frozen Dal Lake and Shikaras, which subtly descend into giving a view of the mountains from the lake. Absolutely mesmerizing. Neither a song nor fiction. The way the story and the dialogues are written, it provides certain believability to what's happening on the screen and we are mostly speechless. Some of the stronger dialogues for us were, टूटे हुए लोग बताते नहीं, उन्हें सुनना पड़ता है. अगर आप बिकने को तैयार हैं, तो बाजार हमेशा खुला है. Impossible takes time, but you must always keep hope. The use of Faiz Ahmed Faiz's Hum Dekhenge and how it means different things to different people is an emotion beautifully captured. The story goes into flashbacks and comes back to the present without it feeling awkward. Having said that, the only real complaint we have with the film is the last scene, which we felt was included to increase the impact of the film, but failed to do so because some of the extras in the scene made little effort to act, which sort of defeated its purpose. Give us a tune to sing. Background score by Rohit Sharma and songs by Swapnil Bandodkar go brilliantly with the theme. However, there are no memorable tracks that we'll hum years from now. But the use of Kashmiri folk songs to express the feelings of nostalgia, fear, pain and anxiety is a masterstroke. Given that the subject at hand has been explored for the first time cinematically, there was ample room in terms of a couple of soulful songs that could have reminded the crowds of this movie and therefore its important plot. Blowing the trumpet or voicing the silent. Although the film mostly captures both sides of the story, trying to sympathize with different points of view, it does take a strong political view and sticks to it. Whereas this could feel personal and compassionate to some, it could feel overwhelming for people with no political views and then outright uncomfortable for certain other sections of the society. So the film could feel like a political agenda or a documentary or a story based on who you ask. Most of this drama already played out when opinions were divided over Article 370 abolishment. When news channels covered genocide and opinions of different communities in India at length, this one will definitely have mixed opinions from the masses. The comparison to Heather. The things that go on in the valley stay in the valley, and when they seldom do come out, it's mostly under the breath. Heather did a fine job communicating through the plight of Hamlet, the sickening reality of a place with rich cultural history. The Kashmir Files does that too, in a non-Shakespearean way, but at times does give an impression of a know-it-all encyclopedia/documentary. But when you compare the message from both the films, although same from the perspective of peace, says so much more about how we conveniently forget truths because of how the topics are treated in mass media and because certain political agendas need fulfilling. Neither a Heather nor a Krishna should go through what they do in these films. That's the message we are taking from this movie. That peace, truth, fundamental rights, and life take precedence over religion and politics. What did you think of the movie? Was there anything specific that you particularly liked or disliked? Let us know in the comment section. Delighted with your viewership. This is Viewers Cut, signing off. Until next time.